Woman Jika, everyone. Woman Jika meaning welcome. My name is Auntie Julianne, and I'm an elder of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people. And in recognition of doing my welcome to country, I'd like to pay my respects to my elders, past, present, future, and any elders that were here today. And I would also like to welcome you all here today. The Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung tribe consists of 3 families, the Nevins, the Terricks, and the Wandans. And I'm part of the Nevin family. The 3 families all descend from one woman called Annie Barratt, which makes us one big family. Annie Barratt is the youngest sister of William Barratt, a pioneer for Aboriginal people in the 19th century, fighting for equality and land rights. I'm here today to welcome you all to the land of my ancestors. We call the land within our tribal boundaries our country. The Kulin Nation, Kulin meaning man, is made up of 5 groups. They are the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung, Boonwurrung, Tanarong, Watharong and Dja-dja-wurrung. And to give you an outline of the Wurundjeri country and the area we cover. Wurundjeri country extends from north to the Great Dividing Range, east to Mount Baw Baw, south to the Morley Creek and west to the Werribee River. We cover a diverse range of land from the mountains to the beach and everything in between. Many thousands of years ago, if an Aboriginal person from another tribe wanted to cross our boundary, they would have to sit at the boundary and wait for the Narragadah, which is the headman, or an elder to come past to give permission to cross. Traditional Aboriginal culture was highly territorial, and visitors risked a violent reprisal for crossing a tribal or clan boundary without this permission, and this is how a welcome to country originated in our culture. Traditionally, being welcomed onto country meant you respected Bunjil's law. Bunjil, the wedge-tailed eagle, is our creator, and Wah, the crow, is our protector. And as long as you looked after the country, you had access to our waterways and our land resources. And when you enter our country, we ask that you respect our resources, our fauna, flora and water, as they are very special to us. And when you are ready to leave, we ask that you leave it the way you found it.
Welcome to the Council meeting. I'm Councillor Piers Tyson, Mayor of Moonee Valley City Council. We aim to get started every second Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. However, sometimes there are some delays behind the scenes that we need to work through, and we appreciate your patience. You can have a look at our agenda online for all the issues that we'll be talking about tonight, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks. So every second Tuesday we work through our council agenda, and what that means is working through things from procedural, day-to-day issues, financial reports, all the way up to the most important things in Moonee Valley, in Victoria or in Australia. And councillors can put up alternatives to that, can put up our staff officers' recommendation, and we can debate that and vote yes or no at the end of the day. Good evening and welcome to the Unscheduled Council meeting on 18th of April 2023, which I now declare open. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to members of the public gallery who have joined us tonight, as well as those watching from home on the internet. As well as being live streamed, the video recording of this meeting will also be available on our website, so attendees in the gallery are advised that their presence may be recorded. I also ask that mobile phones be switched to silent, and a reminder as well to public in the gallery that under Governance Rule 75.1, personal video and audio recordings in the chamber of the meeting is not allowed. On behalf of Moonee Valley City Council, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which Moonee Valley is located, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and pay respects to their spirits, ancestors, community members and elders, past, present and emerging. We also extend this respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here tonight. We now move on to item 2 on the agenda, apologies and leave of absence. And Councillor Nation is an apology for the meeting, and we have Councillor Sharp who has joined us by Zoom. Item 3 on the agenda is declarations of conflict of interest. Does any councillor have a conflict of interest in any item on the agenda this evening? If not, I move on to our only report this evening, and it's item 4, call for council meeting by 4 councillors. 4.1, the report is Melbourne Airport Rail Link and Keilor East / Airport West Railway Station. Councillors, do I have a motion? Councillor Byrne.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move that Council resolves to A, reaffirm its advocacy position for the state government to construct the Keilor East / Airport West Railway Station as announced in 2022. B, instruct the Mayor to write to our local state member for Niddrie, the Honourable Ben Carroll MP, and federal member for Maribyrnong, the Honourable Bill Shorten MP, within 24 hours to 1, express Council's disappointment in recent media reports regarding the delay of the Melbourne Airport Rail Link project, and in particular that Council was not contacted nor briefed about the proposed delay prior to the announcement. 2, request the state and federal governments to continue with the project without delay, particularly as works have already commenced. 3, request the state member for Niddrie and federal member for Maribyrnong to make representations to confirm the state and federal government's positions, funding commitment and timeline for the project. 4, confirm that Council's position for the Keilor East / Airport West Railway Station remains a priority advocacy commitment. C, request a report to come back to Council as soon as possible outlining next advocacy steps in regards to the Melbourne Airport Rail Link and Keilor East / Airport West Railway Station. And Mayor, I'm reading that from the screen, so I'll have it as per on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Byrne. Is there a seconder? Councillor Bedio. Councillor Byrne.
Thanks, Mayor. After years of advocacy, in September last year, our state MP, Ben Carroll, around a month before the election, announced that finally we were going to get a train station on Roberts Road that would service the surrounding suburbs. Mr. Carroll had been, and I strongly believe still is, extremely passionate about this project. There was so much excitement around this announcement, and Council promoted it heavily across our social media and Valley View magazine. After all, it was one of our highest priority advocacy items going into the state and federal election. I know that many Moonee Valley mayors, deputy mayors and councillors, whether sitting around this table right now or not, had strongly advocated for this for a long time, along, of course, with a very strong community. However, on Saturday morning, I was alerted to an article in the Herald Sun titled Airport Rail Link Shutdown, which revealed that the state government will suspend work on the $8 to $13 billion project to rein in the state's debt. Since then, there has been community outrage, with Twitter exploding, local Facebook pages expressing their disgust in the situation, and more phone calls amongst elected representatives than I ever remember. Many comments have been about how it was all a lie, the neglect of the West, and how we are losing out because other levels of government can't manage money. It should be added that in the same article it was mentioned that, unsurprisingly, the suburban rail loop east was quarantined from funding cuts. It didn't take long for myself, Councillor Bedio, Councillor Sypek and Councillor Nation to put our heads together and consider the best approach of what we thought we should do, which was to call for this unscheduled meeting. We are so close to getting a deserved, needed and wanted infrastructure project for this city. We need to do whatever we can now to ensure that this project is delivered and on time. I will note that Councillor Nation is obviously not in attendance tonight, as you mentioned prior. He worked extremely hard during his mayoralty year to help realise this vision for a station, but unfortunately has had a long-standing hospital appointment for a minor operation today and was going to try to make today's unscheduled meeting but has only just been discharged. He stressed the importance for this meeting to be held at the earliest possible date, being today, and was adamant for it to go ahead with or without him, as this is no doubt one of the biggest issues of 2023 for our city. So in moving this motion, what does it actually do? It reaffirms our advocacy position for the state government to construct the Keilor East Airport West Railway Station as announced last year. It instructs you, Mayor, to write to our local state member for Niddrie, the Honourable Ben Carroll, and the federal member for Maribyrnong, the Honourable Bill Shorten, within 24 hours to express Council's disappointment in recent media reports regarding the delay of the Melbourne Airport Rail Link project, and in particular that Council was not contacted nor briefed about the proposed delay prior to the announcement, and to request the state and federal governments to continue with the project without delay. In addition to this, we are also requesting a report to come back to Council as soon as possible outlining next advocacy steps in regards to the Airport Rail Link and the Keilor East Airport West Railway Station, because this project is just too significant. I'm not interested in finger pointing, Mayor. I just want this project to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Byrne. Councillor Bedio.
Thank you, Mayor, and I concur with my colleague, Councillor Byrne. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the many members of the community who reached out to me over the past few days to express their frustration at the state government's recent supposed backflip on the delivery of the East Keilor station. The announcement of this station just 6 short months ago was met with so much joy and celebration, not just by us around the chamber, but the Moonee Valley community as a whole. Years and years of tireless advocacy from this organisation seem to finally produce results. Well, Mr Mayor, even after 40 years of broken promises to the Airport West and East Keilor community, our state and federal governments appear to have once again decided to snub the Northwest. Whilst nothing has been formally confirmed to us, it seems, based on the current media attention and lack of response from government, that there are serious doubts about the delivery of this important piece of infrastructure. Minister Allen has recently, on the ABC, noted issues arising through negotiations with Melbourne Airport. There's also rumours circling around about budget constraints from both state and federal governments. Let's keep in mind the current cost estimate for the first 2 stages of the suburban rail loop have come in at $125 billion, and the state government has already quarantined this project from budget cuts and has reiterated that this project will stay on track for delivery. On the flip side, the Airport Rail Link is projected to cost only 10% of this project, forecast between $8 and $13 billion, but this is the project that is in doubt. As we know all too well around this chamber, the cost to deliver infrastructure has skyrocketed over the past few years, largely due to COVID, and I do appreciate that governments, much like we do, have to make tough decisions. But Mr Mayor, I'm tired of those tough decisions coming at the cost of our community. Our city deserves its fair share, and our residents are tired of watching their hard-earned taxes flow straight into marginal seats. Our city watches on as neighbours to the east and further west receive new train stations, highball stadiums, bridges, playgrounds. It's no wonder that many people in our community, when the announcement came last September, thought that the news may be too good to be true. So, to our state and federal governments, to Minister Pearson, Minister Carroll, Minister Shorten, the community pleads you, deliver the Airport Rail Link, deliver East Keilor train station, and deliver it on time. Our city has been patient, and now it's our turn. I commend this motion to my colleagues.
Thank you, Councillor Bedio. Would any other councillor like to speak? Councillor Sypek.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And let me first start by saying where this station was supposed to be built. And it's a street called Terror Street. Now that sort of is a nice fitting name for this right now, Terror Street, because that's all that happens in the West, Mr Mayor, just terror. That's all we get, broken promises every single time. When this project was announced, I had a lot of people, like my colleague said, that were joyous about this. They were absolutely ecstatic. But I also had just as many people who were the doubting Thomases, who were saying, I'll see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. A lot of them said, this will never happen, not under this government, not under any government, because we are just too much of a safe seat. The Liberals won't throw any money out west because they think it's unwinnable, and Labor won't throw any money out here because it's a safe seat. My biggest concern is the people that were doubting this are actually right. I don't think we'll see this in our lifetime. I don't think this will ever eventuate. And not to sound pessimistic, but it always seems when there's budget restraints comes up, it's always the West that has to foot the bill. Every single time, the West always foots the bill. But then I hear in the news that, parliamentarians who are going to lose their jobs are now looking at getting $250,000 to find a new job. Well, I'll give them a new job. I've got a couple of shovels in my garage. They can start digging this railway station for me. No problems. I'm happy to employ them to do that, Mr. Mayor. The problem is, I too am frustrated. And you won't see on social media, when this was announced, you won't see on social media a picture of Councillor Sypek holding up a sign. I'm happy that we've got a new railway station, because any first year accounting student could tell you the rising debt in Victoria and in Australia, this was going to eventually fall apart. The economy just can't afford to do all these big build projects. It just can't. And like Councillor Bedio said, we're going to be building this rail link from Cheltenham to Box Hill, but we're not going to build a rail link from the city to the airport. Every other major city in the world that has an airport, an international airport, has a rail link to the city. And we don't, but we're going to get one from Cheltenham to Box Hill because that's more important to us right now, Mr. Mayor. That's more important. I find that disappointing. I think we've got some good ministers in our local area. I'd like an extension.
A 30-second extension.
We've got some good ministers here, but you know what? I think now it's time for them to stand up and stand up for our community, stand up for the Moonee Valley community, stand up for the West, Mr. Mayor, because if they won't stand up, then we've got to find other people who will stand up. And it's about, like I said, 40 years is enough time of people not standing up for the West. We need good people that will represent the West and not represent individual parties. We need people to represent people.
Thank you, Councillor Sypek. Would any other councillor like to speak? Councillor Adams.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm very happy to support this motion, and I echo my colleagues' comments. Thank you. I too am disappointed that the scope and/or timing may change from what was originally committed to. This is a project that council and residents have been advocating for a long, long time, and everybody was absolutely thrilled when this announcement was made. So I'd also like to reaffirm our commitment to advocate for this project to go ahead as planned. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. Would any other councillor like to speak? Councillor Hodgson.
Thanks, Mayor. This is obviously something that around the chamber we've unanimously supported for a long time, and it is alarming to see media reports over the weekend that throw into question the timeframes. I am an optimist and hope that Councillor Sypek's predictions don't come into play, and in fact, I am heartened by the subsequent media reports that have said that we are looking at a delay and no more. Like, there's no talk of cancelling or scrapping the project, but I do agree that governments make decisions on priorities, and whilst there's been a lot of investment in education and in public housing and other things in our municipality, public transport investment has been lacking, and particularly in this area. And this project is a chance for a really high impact intergenerational project that will severely change, like significantly change for the better, the lives of people living in Keilor East and Airport West. So it is a bit of a lesson to us that advocacy doesn't stop at the point where you get an announcement or even a shovel in the ground. But I'm glad tonight to support a motion that continues to voice our priority of this and to ensure that the state and federal governments know that this is a key priority for our community, and delivery remains a priority and should be a priority for both levels of government as well.
Thank you, Councillor Hodgson. Would any other councillor like to speak? Councillor Isa?
Thanks, Mayor. And I echo the comments of colleagues around the chamber. I'm speaking also in support of this motion. At the heart of this issue is our loud call for public transport access for residents and students and businesses in Airport West and Keilor East. And while this at the moment's been wrapped up in advocacy for Airport Rail, it is really important for us to keep our eyes squarely on the goal, and that is efficient mass public transport to give people living in Airport West and East Keilor equitable access to the CBD and other parts of Melbourne and Victoria. In Flemington, where I live, we've got 2 tram lines and a train, which is, of course, beset with its own problems, but we know the value that public transport brings to people's lives. And I join the chorus for all people in our municipality to have access to transport services. There is possibly some language in the motion that I think could be a little bit more precise. There wasn't actually an announcement prior to the weekend reporting, and I'd probably prefer to refer to potential or possible deferral, but the intent of the motion I think is clear, and I'm sure that the letter can be written that properly conveys Council's views. I do also want to comment that I think it is always more effective at local government or at any level of public debate to argue the issue and to not get embroiled in party politics. We do get better long-term outcomes when we avoid conflating issues with party political contests. The successful community campaigns that I've been involved with for over 20 years are those that focus on making a persuasive case without losing the support of essential allies through personal and party political attacks. And I also want to acknowledge that all governments, including our own level of government, are confronting at the moment severe economic pressures due to a range of external factors, making timely delivery difficult. At Council, we're also experiencing unwelcome variations to timelines, frustrating our efforts to deliver on our promises to our community. We know the challenges of delivering capital works and appreciate that this is magnified for projects the scale of the Airport Rail Link. And we don't want to sound like we don't understand these realities. We also know the pressures on other critical services such as housing, community healthcare, mental health services, and the urgent need for investment in preventing gender violence, deaths in custody, a whole range of demands on budgets at the state and Commonwealth level. The Deputy Premier did comment yesterday that there are no plans to cancel this project, that it remains an important project for Victoria, and that's welcome news. Persistent advocacy on the issue of public transport for all is important to us in Moonee Valley, and so I support this motion. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Isa. Would any other councillor like to speak? If not, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. Now I've completed those letters, and I will call this meeting to a close at 6:50. Thanks for joining us.